Picture this. You've just upgraded your kitchen, bought an electric car, and your teenager loves those long power-hungry showers. Everything feels modern and efficient. Until one evening the lights flicker, the shower cuts out, and the oven shuts down halfway through dinner. Was it faulty wiring? No. It was your house screaming, "I don't have enough power for all this." This is the reality for many UK homeowners right now. And the big question is, how much power do you really need? In this episode, I'll show you how to figure that out, without guesswork, without overspending, and without living in fear of tripping the main fuse. Whether you're planning upgrades, buying an EV, or just curious if your home is ready for the future, this breakdown will give you the answers. Section 1, the basics of supply power. Let's start at the very beginning. In the UK, most homes are on a single-phase supply. That supply is protected by your main fuse, usually 60, 80 or 100 amps. Multiply that by 230 volts and you'll know your maximum. That's 60 amps equals about 13.8 kilowatts, 80 amps equals around 18.4 kilowatts, 100 amps equals roughly 23 kilowatts. Think of this as your home's total muscle. It's the absolute maximum it can deliver at any one time. But here's the catch. Almost nobody runs their house flat out like that all the time. Section 2, average household demand. Here's the truth. Most UK households rarely use more than a fraction of their available supply. Even busy homes with cookers, TVs, kettles and washing machines usually tick along comfortably. Why? Because of something electricians call diversity. Not everything runs at once. Your oven, shower and washing machine don't all stay on continuously. That built-in staggering is what makes a 60 amp supply perfectly fine for millions of homes. To give you an example, a kettle might draw about 3 kilowatts, but only for a few minutes. A washing machine has heating cycles, but in between it's only spinning the drum, which uses much less power. The oven cycles on and off as it maintains temperature, and lights, or TVs, are relatively low demand in comparison. If you looked at the actual graph of a home's electricity use, you'd see spikes here and there. But most of the time, the line is sitting well below the maximum limit. In fact, many homes tick along at only a few kilowatts for most of the day. It's only when you start layering in the big hitters, things like an EV charger, an electric shower running at the same time as the oven or heat pumps, that your demand can really push toward the limit of your supply. Section 3, the big energy users. Here are the appliances that can really push your supply to the limit. EV chargers, usually 7 kilowatts and often left on for hours. Electric showers, 8 to 10 kilowatts, though only for short bursts. Heat pumps, 3 to 6 kilowatts, but they run for long periods. Range cookers, up to 10 kilowatts if every ring and oven is on. Individually they're manageable, but combine them, say charging the car, cooking Sunday roast, and someone taking a shower, and suddenly your 60 amp fuse is sweating. Section 4, calculating your needs. So how do you actually know if your supply is enough? Here's the step-by-step. Step 1, write down your high-demand appliances. Step 2, check their ratings in kilowatts or amps. Step 3, think about what realistically overlaps. Let's test it. An EV charger at 7 kilowatts and a shower at 10 kilowatts together equal around 74 amps. That's already more than a 60 amp fuse can handle. But here's the nuance. If your EV is set to charge overnight and showers happen in the morning, then the overlap never happens. That's why timing and control are just as important as raw supply size. Section 5, future-proofing. Now, here's a mistake I see too often. People only think about their needs today. But electricity use is changing rapidly. Are you planning to install solar panels and batteries? Thinking about a second EV? Or adding underfloor heating in a new extension? Those plans could double or even triple your home's future demand. So don't just think in years, think in decades. A bit of planning today could save you thousands in supply upgrades tomorrow. Section 6, Real-World Story. Let me give you 2 quick real-world examples. Case 1. A family with a 60-amp supply wanted to install an EV charger. They were convinced a full upgrade was inevitable. They'd even been quoted thousands for DNO works. Instead, we carried out a load assessment and found that most of their demand never overlapped. By fitting a load management unit, shifting a couple of circuits for balance, and pairing the charger with an off-peak EV tariff, we made the existing supply work smarter. The result? No blown fuses, no disruptive street works, and far lower running costs. For them, the charger simply blended into daily life without ever maxing out their supply. Case 2. A landlord converting a large house into 2 self-contained flats thought a full 3-phase upgrade was the only route. That would have meant long lead times, higher costs, and major disruption. Instead, we worked with the DNO to provide 2 separate 80-amp single-phase supplies from the existing service head. Each flat ended up with more than enough capacity for modern living, electric showers, ovens, and even future EV chargers if needed. The project avoided the expense and months of waiting associated with 3-phase works, and the landlord could move tenants in on schedule. Section 7. Do you need an upgrade? So how do you know if you need an upgrade? Ask yourself 3 key questions. 1. Are you already tripping or blowing fuses? 2. Do you have or plan to add 1 or more high-demand appliances? 3. Can smart load management or time shifting solve it instead? If you answered yes to the first 2 and no to the third, then yes, a supply upgrade is probably worth exploring. Otherwise, you might already have more than enough power. Section 8. Mistakes to avoid. Before we wrap up, let me warn you about the 3 mistakes I see most often. Thinking bigger is always better. Overspending on supply you'll never touch. Adding every appliance rating together without considering diversity. And skipping professional advice, which often leads to expensive surprises later. Avoid these, and you'll be far ahead of most homeowners. A little planning and the right guidance can save you thousands, and more importantly, give you peace of mind. Remember, smart decisions today mean fewer regrets tomorrow. So, how much power do you really need? The answer isn't just a number. It's about your lifestyle, your appliances, and how cleverly you manage them.